Well, hello, fellow Lilith loungers. Here we are. And if you saw us live before that, you can see, again, we have no engineering crew. We are it. So I'm Julie Sherwood.
I'm Maria Schumacher, still.
As you guys know, but we are recording this because we may want to post this to our channels later. We're just playing in the sandbox tonight. So welcome to the sandbox party. Welcome to the Holistic Health Happy Hour. And I'll give a little blurb about how I thought about this, and then I'll invite my lovely co-host to share her thoughts, and then we'll go from there. So this actually, the idea kind of percolated a little bit as I was taking care of some of my own holistic health and going for a walk. And I heard the term holistic happy hour, and I thought, well, wait a minute, let's make this holistic health happy hour and find ways that we can bring different modalities to our mind, body, and spirit well-being that support us in a holistic way.
Julie, I'm going to interrupt you. We've got a couple comments here. I don't know how to get into the Facebook thingy. Linda, I can't find the meeting.
Okay, well, this is where we just, again, play in the sandbox as best as we can. And embody our holistic health by just taking a couple deep breaths, let it happen as it's supposed to.
Do I need to direct them to my homepage or something? Or they're in the Lilith Lounge, but it doesn't appear that we are live in the Lilith Lounge. So
we should be. Okay, so let me pause the recording again. Well, okay, friends, we'll start this again, and it's all good. Thank you for being the guinea pigs and being patient with us, because this is how we do it, right? And so we'll back up the train because I'm just going to use this recording. So again, as you guys know, I'm Julie Sherwood.
Yep, I'm still Maria.
And we're bringing us the opportunity to do a podcast called the Holistic Health Happy Hour. And as I said earlier, but on the new recording, the idea kind of came to me as I was going for a walk. And I heard holistic happy hour, and I thought, let's bridge the gap and add the word health and talk about different ways that we use all sorts of esoteric holistic health modalities in our own mind, body, and spirit health. And it could be the gamut. We both do constellational astrology, as you know. It could be working with crystals. It could be working with oracle or divination cards. It could be sacred writings. It could be a wide gamut of possibilities. And we just want to open up the world to these possibilities. So, Maria, your thoughts on that?
Ditto what she said. It just seemed like it seemed like a really good idea when Julie presented it to me, that let's talk about astrology and then bringing it home, bringing it into our everyday lives and matching up healing modalities, wellness practices, recipes and cocktails. Who knows what we will do?
Exactly.
But yeah,
exactly. And right along the constellational astrology aspect of things, we have a new moon today. So, my dear diva of the dailies, if you'll share your thoughts on the Capricornian new moon, and then I can share some thoughts. And then those of you on the Lilith Lounge page, if you're with us live, feel free to pop up notes in the comments about like what house this is hitting you in. And we can give some insights and thoughts about how to work with that energy, and depending on what house you're in.
Yeah. Before that, I'd want to do just a little housekeeping, because I'm concerned for our sister Linda. She was having a hard time getting into the meeting before, and I don't see her here now. So maybe Julie, if you could write Linda Shoop a personal message or something, or
I will tag her.
Love you, Linda.
Have her join us.
Trying our best.
So for anybody else looking for us, if you can hear us in other lands, just refresh your Facebook homepage and you should see us right at the top.
because for some reason, what happens in the Lilith Lounge also happens on your homepage, but only visible to you.
Right, right.
Is that right?
Yes. And that was my apologies, my error. When I said be in the Lilith Lounge, I wasn't thinking about the fact that it actually populates on your personal Facebook page, but only for those of us who have access to the Lilith Lounge, if that makes sense. Anyway, I can type if you will talk.
All right. Okay. So here we are. It's the new moon in Capricorn. Yes, friends, Capricorn. I'm sure I don't have to explain to you all that the new moon is not, in fact, in Aquarius. So we'll just go from there. Keywords for a new moon in Capricorn. All right. So we're thinking sun and moon are conjunct, which is a new moon. That means there's an integration. It's an integration time. It's a time to integrate into yourself your soul, your shining self that needs to express, and your shadowed self that stays within, right? The emotional, the sun, integrating all of that from the last cycle. So new moon, universally, no matter what sign it's in, is just a time of, right? A time to slow. Linda, yay! I'm so happy.
And for the rest of you who are with us, yes, we're happy to see you too.
Yeah, it's true. We don't play favorites here in Holistic Health Happy Hour.
No, we don't.
Oh, we're really happy to see you, Linda. Yay.
Happy.
So new moons, a time to integrate whatever you've picked up during the last lunar cycle. A time when the outer you, the you that expresses outward, and the you that feels inward are together and communicating strongly. A time to therefore both take stock of wrapping up old things and then think about going new. In Capricorn, that's like double, because wrapping up old cycles, or rather reassessing where you're still aligned with old goals. How well did you achieve goals from the last time you set them in Capricorn? And then setting new goals and plans to achieve them is also a theme of Capricorn.
Right.
So we've got keywords for this would be taking responsibility, long-term goals. Think about, not just, I'm going to set a goal to get up on time tomorrow morning. I'm going to set a 5-year plan. I'm going to set a 10-year plan. And then the next time that we're in Capricorn, we can assess how well we're doing it. Think about the last time you set a 5-year plan. Where are you on that timeline?
Structures.
Has that changed for you? Maybe, since the last time you set your goals, things may have changed, and you may find that you're no longer in alignment with that. So looking at where you are aligned now, are you still aligned with old goals, or do those need to fall away and make new room for new goals? Are you wanting to be in alignment with something different, something else? Ambition and self-control are also part of Capricorn. And both of those might scare you depending on what other placements you have. Both the words ambition and self-control can be scary words fraught with angst. But we're just going to take things from the highest octave of Capricorn here today and not worry so much about shadow side. Ambition by itself is not a bad thing. Self-control by itself is not a bad thing. And you need to be able to apply yourself, which is self-control, if you're going to meet any goal, which is ambition, right? So yay. Hi, Helen.
Yes. And Hope and Melody and anybody else.
Yeah. So here we are, new moon in Capricorn in 2024. talking about what our goals might be for the long term, setting new long term goals, evaluating how far you've come on an old plan, um, sort of re-upping a dedication to apply yourself to those goals, because taking responsibility and having some ambition are also key words in Capricorn. And integrating all of the lessons of the past, not only lunar cycle, but Capricorn cycle. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of integration right now. Therefore, if you find yourself feeling like, okay, I've been awake for 10 hours, that's enough, then that's probably right. Mm-hmm. Because the way we integrate is not necessarily by running a marathon
right,
and or getting out there and giving a speech. The way we integrate is by being quiet, being still. Think about the mountain goat. There's burst of energies needed to get to that next rock, but then they mostly stand there on that next rock.
Yeah, right? Get the foothold, make sure they're stable, make sure they're steady. Yeah,
exactly.
And that they can see the next step ahead too. Because that mountain goat isn't going to place his or her foot in a way where they can't see that step because they know they could fall off the ledge.
And they also might be just having a moment of enjoying the view.
That too, absolutely. And, I wanted to tag off briefly too, Capricorn being ruled by Saturn is all about our relationship with time and cycles too. So this may be a time, that you look at how you relate to time in your life in terms of, am I a slave master to time, or do I let time flow? Do I honor my personal cycles, or do I jump up because the clock says something? And I think we're in a really interesting time in our humanity to start really questioning, am I Monday through Friday, 9 to 5? Or do I have the ability to do some self-care and honor that cycle if I need it, right? I think that's important too. And the other thing I was going to say real quick for those who may be into numerology, another modality, this is 2024. It's an 8 year. It's a year of personal abundance, personal wealth. How do you relate to others also in terms of bringing wealth and resources in your life? And it could be in any manifestation, right? It doesn't have to be just money. It could be, building relationships and having food in your cupboard, creating community. How do you define abundance? Personal internal well-being. You can be abundant within yourself. And I think Capricorn new moons are asking us to look at that structure, that foundation, and it's time. It's time to really look at that. And 8 is a fantastic number to work with that. It's also infinity on its side, right?
Yeah.
Eternity.
When you think about the earth signs, and I don't know why this is important to say right now, but it is, so I'm saying it. When you think about the earth signs, Capricorn, Taurus, and Virgo. Taurus, I don't want to say it. Taurus is about wealth. Virgo is about growth, and Capricorn is about stability. Mm-hmm. So we're much more focused on stability, structure of things in Capricorn. We kind of assume wealth, right? This is like we assume that. We also assume growth, but Capricorn is like square one, structure.
Right.
Right. So, we're going to get to the wealth building. We're going to get to the growth. But before we can do any of that, we've got to make sure our little hooves are on solid ground.
Yep.
There's structure behind us, right? So that's why Capricorn is concerned with things like not just defining the goals, but then, okay, if this is my goal, then what's step one? What's step two? What do I need to do to begin to achieve that goal?
Right.
And
looking the action plan.
Yeah, right? Exactly. And then how far am I from achieving the goals from the last cycle? as well. So yeah, that's think stability and think things that provide stability.
Yeah.
If we're talking about healing modalities, we're going to focus on bones, teeth, probably feet,
Mm-hmm.
you know, your house.
Right. Right. Foundations, structure.
Yeah.
Again, however you define that. It could also be mental foundations in some ways too. It's what is it that creates that stable structure in your sphere, right? And I was when you were talking about the earth signs too, what came to me in the back of my mind is, Taurus is all about the individual abundance, wealth, resources.
Abundance.
Like,
Sorry. Yes, that's the word. Mm-hmm.
yeah, no, I mean, and again, wealth can be abundance. Wealth to me is just as broad as the word wealth and abundance to me are synonymous in some ways. And Taurus is all about the doing that for yourself, right? I need money in my bank account. I need food in my cupboard. I need to feel self-value, self-worth, internal, external resources. And I think Taurus is also planting those seeds in the individual so that as we move through Virgo, we become prepared to bridge the gap from me to the other and get ready to harvest. Virgo is also about the harvest. And by doing that, we create stable foundations in Capricorn in our society, right? So it is an evolutionary process through those three earth signs. And I think that's a beautiful way to look at that, for
Yeah.
sure. So one of the thoughts I had, well, actually both of us had as far as the houses, we could talk about how it shows up in each, like where is this new moon? For me, it's in the fifth house. We can talk about what does that mean? And then the other thing is, because the girl has a lot of books, I have this lovely book about the moon. And if your natal moon, like mine is a natal Taurus moon, how do I experience the Capricornian new moon energy? So we can talk a little bit about that too. So, and you guys can pop questions in along the lines of what we're trying to answer, and I'll try to keep an eye on the comment.
We've got a question from Hope
Yes.
already. Yep.
To see what is being stimulated, you would look at where Capricorn is in your natal chart, your progress. My natal Capricorn is in the 8th house and only my north node is there.
I think right now we might more look at where where this new moon is happening in your chart.
Yes.
Not necessarily Capricorn in your natal chart, but yeah, where is the new moon today against your natal chart? Does that make sense? Julie, use
Yeah.
words.
No, I totally agree because what this does is it gives you an idea of how this transit is coming into your chart. Whereas the progressed moon, that would be looking at the moon's progressed language for you for the year kind of thing, right? So we don't want to do that. We want to look at how the energy of the new moon is coming into your chart. What natal house is it hitting? So like I said, I have Capricorn in my fifth house in my natal chart. So this new moon is going to be talking to my fifth house.
Right,
That's
right.
what.
And yes, yes. Hope's Capricorn is in her eighth house. So this new moon is going to be, even if you don't have anything there natally, right? I have a completely blank eighth house normally, though. This new moon is affecting your eighth house. And so you actually might have the deepest sort of personal transformation, right? That whole rite of passage in your understanding of the underlying structures of things. Yours is going to be a lot about the underlying structures of things. And you'll probably be deep into your body, deep into your physical body. You might even have a conversation with your bones.
Mm-hmm.
How do you do that? She says. You will probably want to be like, all right, what is making this, what is making things tick?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's yeah, the underlying hidden structures of things.
The other piece of the eighth house I see too is a couple pieces of it. Of course, is the whole Plutonian death and rebirth, right? You may have some
Mhm.
foundations coming down, not necessarily in your body, but just generally speaking, that have
Yes.
to come down so you can build the new ones, new moon, new build. The other thing
Yeah.
is eighth house is also because it's opposite second house. Second house is again all about personal resources. Eighth house can also be about shared resources. So business propositions, uh, investments, shared partnerships, sexual issues, because you're sharing your body, the resource of your body with
Mhm.
another. So there may be things around that. What are the foundational things that you bring into that as well in the eighth house? So hopefully that'll make sense as well.
And yeah, exactly. And what are the structures in there? Birth, death,
Yeah.
sex, shared resources. Again, the deepest sort of transformation of the things that are a little, well, more than a little mysterious, rites of passage. Yeah.
Yeah, the deep, deep, deep stuff. Melody, I believe, said, let me go look at the comments and stream down. I believe she said ninth house.
Yep.
Um, so the ninth house, how would you take that, my dear friend?
Some of your deeply held beliefs might be in for a little shakeup.
Mhm.
The structures upon which you build your thought forms. Ninth house. Some deeply held beliefs might be at odds with the material world. Quest for wisdom.
Mhm.
So as you reassess where you've been in the last year, like things that you thought about last year, or things that perhaps you ideas that you acted upon last year, things that perhaps you ideas that you might be perceived very differently this year.
Mhm.
So it's that's that ninth house. Also, the way you communicate with people. And in Melody's case, I think this has a lot to do with your songwriting and a lot to do with your getting yourself out there in the world, that it might be very much time for that. The transforming of how you communicate with the world.
You know, the other thing too is I also see ninth house about cultures and traditions that are global or big, or you know what, it's not just the
Mhm.
mental adventure, it's the physical adventure, right? And so you may also be finding new information about the foundations of different traditions and structures, right? How different communities build a house. I think you'd also talked in the past about the different caves that had sound in them. So that's a structure that is something that comes back to a particular tradition or culture. So it's learning about those structures too. I think that would play into the ninth house piece of it as well. Or developing a new relationship with some of these things that you've known and looked at one way. Now all of a sudden it's like, oh, I might look at that differently, right? And Melody
So mote it
says, so
be.
vote it be. Beautiful.
Helen's got fifth house, she says.
So do I.
Um, yeah, do you too?
Yeah. Yeah.
Ah, okay, you too. Um, self-expression. So how fifth house, um, how do you express yourself, right? And even what you express about yourself could change. Your level of self assuredness, your level of purpose. These are foundational things to the fifth house. So if Capricorn is there bringing that foundational structure to fifth house, your sense of purpose and your self assuredness of that purpose and your need to communicate it are going to get are going to get pinged. This one, that's
And
what's
you
going
know
to
why
be
I'm
pinged.
laughing, right? What are we doing right now?
You
I,
think?
yeah, you think, right? We're trying to build a new channel to express. It fits me. And I want to make this playful. That's the other thing about the fifth house is it's playful, it's passion, it's hobbies. It's the child who just wants to get out and run in the playground. But Capricorn can make that feel restrictive if the demand to take care of the responsibilities is louder than the call to play, right? So, it's for me, it's always been you have to clean up the house before you can go outside and play. So how do I develop a new relationship with that? And Helen, that may resonate with you as well.
Yeah.
Um,
And Helen, you're absolutely right. I just looked up your chart. Yours is in the early sixth house. So um in that case, I think you're looking at a major reassessment, like a major reassessment of how you care for, maintain, and improve what it is you value regarding your physical health, your job, and your home, and or your home. So, and I'm for this one, I'm feeling more of a revisiting, at least this new moon right now. It's okay. I'm taking stock. And that whole I need to evaluate how far I've come from last year, what has changed, and then what my new goals are for next year. But regarding your health, your work, your vocation in the world, and your living space.
yeah, and how you view your responsibility, Capricorn, to being in service to self and others. Sixth house, right? Yeah, yeah. Because again, Virgo is that constellation that bridges between the self and other. So you look at that.
So then, Julie, what kind of modality suggestions would you have for these lovely ladies with our eighth, ninth, fifth, and sixth houses?
Oh, good Lord. Now I have to go through and do, well, the fifth house, I can start with that. I'll go fifth, sixth, eighth, and ninth. So I keep them. Oh, wait a minute. Let's back up the train for a second. How about your house?
Me, 10th.
Okay. And well, 10th Capricorn. Could you
10th
get
house
a stronger?
Capricorn. I also have Venus there. So a change, I think, in my career
Hmm?
and what I put out in the world. Now let's think about the ways in which I'm already working on that. Um, let's see, there's this. Uh,
So see, this is funny that we've come together in this, right?
yeah, it really is. I've also been thinking about, my job, which
It's 10th
is
house,
which is providing all of my security right now.
Venus.
So honoring that and also trying to bring more moments of personal fulfillment into that, trying to seek a better balance of it all.
Hmm.
That oddly enough is what I'm sort of looking at. But yeah, my 10th house, my career and how I show up in the world might get an upgrade and a kind of kick of ambition, which feels good. Like, okay, I'm ready to expand some things. And I've been looking back on how, all right, well, what have I started since last year done? And I'm not massively thrilled about it. Perhaps it just all got off to a slower start than I think. But and Melody can attest to that. I was having a bit of a meltdown a couple of weeks ago about, I haven't gotten anywhere since last year. Nothing has worked. Everything is still flatline whack. Um, and that may not actually be the case.
Well, and 10th house calls for that patience, right? So this is that new relationship with the Capricornian moon, new moon, asking you, how can you be a little more patient in the process? How can you embrace the creational, the making of the foundation? So it's sort of like you got to pour the cement for the house before you can play and decorate it all.
Well, and also to stay the course.
Yeah.
I think that Capricornian energy asks you to put yourself on a plan. How well have you stayed to the plan? Have you gotten knocked off course?
Mm-hmm.
And are you still in alignment with that plan? So that's what I'm going to be spending, some time with. And that's pretty much right where I am.
Well, and so we'll go back to the fifth. So I'll go fifth, sixth, eighth, ninth, and 10th. We can look at different ways to approach that. And
Okay.
so the fifth house, I'm thinking about the creative play. So what are some ways to bring in that creativity where you can be expressive in the process? So it might be adult coloring. It might be learn something new. That's a new hobby where you just approach it with complete childlike wonder. There's no, the structure of it is the play in and of itself, right? It's not, oh, I have to color in the lines, or I have to make sure that I follow all the technique rules for this new thing I'm learning. No, just go in like the little 5-year-old that gets to play in the sandbox for the first time and has shovels and buckets and little Tonka trucks and whatever happens to be, and make the structure the play, right? And I think that in and of itself can give you a beautiful relationship with somebody who has Capricorn fifth house, because Capricorn can feel restrictive to the kid that just wants to play. It's like the father figure coming in and saying, like I said, you got to clean up your stuff before you can go play. So
Mm-hmm.
how do you develop that new relationship with that, right?
Or, or,
Or,
or else literally build playtime into your structure.
yes,
You know, there's a reason why kindergarten has recess. You need it.
and
And
built-in cookies.
yeah, exactly. So maybe evaluating how much or how little, okay, how little playtime you have allowed yourself in your structure, right?
Mhm.
Is what's going to happen, and then build in more. It's like I don't have enough playtime, and it may seem a little it may seem a little paradoxical, like okay, I'm going to build playtime in, but sometimes you have to because we think that everything else has to take priority over fun. When the truth is, in your case, no. My fifth house says I need to dedicate myself to some fun.
Mhm.
God damn it.
Mhm.
So,
Well, and so then morphing into the sixth house, what I'm thinking about with that is, what are the structures and routines you already have built into your daily health and, routine, right? And maybe find different ways to go and flow with the cycle. So maybe engage a meditation practice in the morning and let that meditation guide you to where you need to be for the day, right? And it might be it's an earth, because sixth house is related to Virgo, right? And it's an earth feeling. So go out and dig in the dirt for a little while, build a little garden. Even if you live in an area where the weather isn't so great, you can do little sprout gardens in your house, things like that. Get your fingers in the dirt. And sixth house, again, tied to Virgo, is all about the harvest. So maybe think about ways that you can bring plants into your life and build that something that you can harvest later. Maybe some herbs, right? So in a
yeah.
couple of weeks, you can snip off some oregano or something, that kind of thing.
Yeah. I mean, and again, since we're talking about Capricorn, New Moon and Capricorn, these are things that you're going to want to build into the structure of your day.
Right.
That this New Moon in Capricorn is saying it's going to be important for you to put Helen's sixth house to put more contact with earth, more contact with growing things, more contact with um, that kind of stuff into your make sure not to let that out. It's gotta be built.
Yeah.
Build that in.
Yes. Yes. Literally. I mean, literally build it in, right? And allowing that time. Eighth house, what was coming to me, the first thought that I had was mirror work. And sorry, I had to take a drink of water. What I mean by that is you're digging down into the deep shadow things that might be laying down below that are affecting your personal foundation, right? Your musculoskeletal um, body, right? And to clear out these things that are staying hidden, you may need to do some mirror work and talk to that little kid that's in there, or talk to that shadow, right? And mirror work is not easy. It is one of the hardest things, I think, to sit there and look at it and say, I love you. It's like, oh, that feels weird. Some people are really good at it. Others, I have a hard time with it. I'll be, honest about that. And there was something else working with divination tools, working with the occult, the mysterious. Use oracle cards, pendulums, dig deep into some of the mysterious things that may be in your own personal heritage that you can build a foundational relationship with to incorporate into your regular routine. I'm feeling dark and shadowy. What does this deck of oracle cards have to tell me today that can help me unearth what's hidden down there? I may not see it myself, but I may have something that can help me see it. Or seek out somebody to do a past life regression on you, or do some hypnotherapy work or guided imagery. Those are all different ways that you can work with a different modality to get to the hidden, right? So other thoughts on that, my friend?
Danny, hey girl. Danny's here. Uh, my thoughts on the eighth house are very much Capricorn transforming your eighth house. The word control comes up for me with this because Capricorn often speaks about control, but the eighth house reminds us that we don't have any.
Yes.
So I think the challenge for you with this transit, Hope, is to let go of feeling like you need to control and allow yourself to explore those hidden structures, the underlying structure of things from a place of detachment. And this could be a real challenge for you, um, but exploring. I think this is sort of a great time to let yourself feel like, all right, I'm not going to try to build. I'm going to try to explore and uncover and seek.
Develop a new relationship with different foundations. That's kind of what's coming to me.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. With new foundations, and maybe let go of what there's a certain amount of forget all you know or think you know
Yeah.
kind of thing. And that's why in the eighth house, I think the structures that are there are going to be very, very challenged, or the structures that you rely on are going to be very, very challenged with Capricorn eighth house activated.
Right.
And you have that placement natally, so you sort of naturally want to know how things work. You want the mysteries to have an underlying structure. You want to know how tarot cards work. You want to know how feng shui works. You want to know how human design works. Um, and and now you might find a new modality that you're going to pick apart. Like, I want to see how astrology works. I want to see how AI works. Something like that.
Right. The structure of it, the
Yeah.
foundation of it. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Exactly. Danny just joined with ninth house, perfect timing, because we're going to
Ding
morph
dong.
into that. And what I was thinking with Melody in particular, I keep thinking about learning more about how other traditions view foundational structures. How do they create their homes, and what did it mean to them in their heritage? And again, the sound that I keep thinking about, the sound structures, the stone buildings that created hertz, certain HERTZ, right? The frequencies. Frequencies are a foundational structure, if you will, right? They have form. And I keep hearing the music, the form, learning how other cultures, other ways, ancients did these things.
Yeah. And for both of them, this is conjunct their natal moons.
Oh, there's an emotional need to do this. And the moon goes fourth house Cancer. That's it's the roots, the heritage, the ancestry, the hearth of the home. What does home mean? What is the home structure? And I want to explore on that. Ninth house is the explorer, the one that goes out on the adventure, right? So yeah, I think those are great ways to work with that. And again, it goes also back to the belief systems too. What are some of the foundational belief systems that are out there? Religious dogma is a perfect example of that. And again, no judgment on that, however anybody views that. It's the structure of the spiritual belief system,
Mm-hmm.
right? What are the rules and the laws around that, Capricorn? The authority figures around that. To explore that at that deep intrinsic level of your belief system. Maybe you're creating a whole new foundation and a whole new spiritual belief system, your own dogma, if you will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a great one. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
How do I say it? Ninth house. Again, this also might be very much seeing and coming face to face with ways that either probably your deeply held beliefs, because your moons are there,
Mm-hmm.
deeply held beliefs are at odds with your material reality.
Interesting. I like that.
Yes. So seeing how, and again, because we want alignment, right? We want to be able to bring what we sense, right, into alignment with our material experience.
Mm-hmm.
That's a pretty hefty challenge for this. And I don't even know if it's necessarily a challenge. It might be more of a calling. It's like, you know what? How is my existence reflecting what I deeply, deeply believe?
Right.
Or am I living something that I don't even realize I believe? You know what I mean? Like
Right.
where am I at with all this living versus believing stuff? So
Yeah.
and to do that, um I, what's our remedy here? I'm seeing water. I'm just actually seeing a lot of time in water, like more baths, more showers, more sacred bathing, more getting deep into that deep, deep stuff.
With, I keep hearing music too, with music
Ah,
and
yes, yes,
sound.
yes.
But music and sound that speaks to you from that deep level. It might again be your heritage. It might be a past life that you've connected to. It might be a particular culture that you really want to connect to as you're enjoying that bath or being next to water or listening to a water feature. Maybe listen to some of the ancient sounds and see how that resonates with you in terms of just settling that feeling, you know?
I keep, yeah, the connection between music and water, that structure of vibration
Mm-hmm.
could also be a great way to bring that alignment of the unseen feeling into the material manifest, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
blah,
Music and
word
water
salad, but
somehow, yeah, came out of that one, which is really interesting.
yeah.
But do we want to hit some of the other houses too? Because if we post this recording elsewhere, we may have people in
Yeah, give me a 10th house remedy, Juju.
a 10th house remedy. Oh God.
Yeah.
Um, you know what came to my mind? This is really funny. Legos.
Ah!
I'm serious. It's like building the structure, but
I
using
was obsessed with Legos as a little girl. You have no idea.
but I mean using that in a way when you were talking about creating these new foundational goals or whatever you want, you can do it in a way where it doesn't have to be on paper, right? I think sometimes we get caught up in a specific way to do that, and it might be playing with the Legos, playing with kids' blocks. It just, how do you create these new pathways of goals in a way that is playful too? Because I think as adults, we get so, I keep talking because my fifth house has to get out. We look at the adult perspective all the time as those adults, where it's like if you tell again, say a 7-year-old kid in school, Johnny, what do you want to do for your goals over the next 3 days? I mean, you're not going to use those words, but the kid is going to be like, well, I want to learn how to play Legos. I want to learn, that kind of thing. So incorporating the play in the creation of those new structures and new goals and new foundations, right? Yeah, yeah. And bringing beauty to your structure, the other hat that you wear, right? The interior design work, bringing beauty to that structure can be very therapeutic. Working with colors. So for those other people who have 10th house, placements, it's like, how do you bring aromatherapy, color work, whatever, to the foundations that are around you, right? Not your fourth house home, but just the broader concept, right?
Well, I mean, it may be even fourth house, but it's like I kind of do have the perfect career for Venus in the 10th house Capricorn, don't
Yes, you
I?
do. Yes, you do.
Yay.
Yes, you do. Well, let's rewind to first house. So first house,
Okay.
it's all about the self, the personal image, what you put out in the world. So there may be times that you look at the structure of you as you walk out into the big world, right? You may present yourself differently. You may start wearing different clothes. You may decide to cut your hair differently. You may also put personal attention on your goals for your body. Like, I really want to take care of my bones. So I am going to create a plan where I take care of my bones. Oftentimes women are facing osteoporosis. Our Dr. Danny can probably speak to some of that stuff. But
Mm.
again, what kind of a new health regimen could you include to increase your bone strength or to minimize any loss of bone strength? Go to your dentist appointment, teeth, take care of that physical structure and create a plan. If you haven't been, maybe you've been terrified of the dentist. Now it's time to create that plan in a way that you can meet those goals to stay healthy, right? So that's kind of how I see some first house stuff. What are your thoughts, my dear?
I agree with that. I think that your relationship to yourself could be getting a big upgrade right now. If this is happening in your first house, you might be like, okay, look, I deserve some care and maintenance here, and I am going to just get in tune with what myself needs
Mm-hmm.
to function, right? And this is kind of getting into the sixth house,
Yes.
kind of with the health routines, but it's not. It's more fundamental. It's like, look, I love myself enough to make sure that I am doing what it takes to feel good and meet life.
Right.
Right. It's not necessarily from refinement. It's not quite sixth housey, like, oh, I could do better. It's a little fuzzy, but it's more like, look, no, I love myself enough to do it. Whatever the it is.
Right. The capital S self, me.
Yes,
It's all about
whatever the it is. I esteem myself. And I think that that might be the biggest thing that first housers get out of this.
Well, and Capricorn's also about the authority and the rules, right? Write your own rules or
Yes.
yourself with the capital S. And
Yes.
also, what relationship do you have with other authorities over you as the one, the self, right?
Right.
And there are certain things out there that people say you must do this because
See,
for
now
your
that's more first
physical.
housey to me. That's
Yes.
like, no, I am my own authority.
Yep.
I love myself enough to take responsibility for myself. I love myself enough to reclaim my own authority. I love myself enough to do what it takes to be I am
I
in the
am
world.
the expert of me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Um, so second house, I see this again, second house is related to Taurus. It's the personal resources for survival. Your money, your food, your home, your clothing, but also your intrinsic values, self-worth, self-esteem, self-confidence, right? And excuse me, what kind of things are you doing to meet any, and I hate the word goals is one of those words I wrestle with, but meet your intentions. What kind of a plan or structure do you have around meeting things that build a good, strong foundation in your personal resources? It might very well be a financial plan for yourself for the next year. It might very well be plan out the garden to create food for myself. It may be go do some holistic health modality work to help my self-esteem and my self-confidence. So those, I think the second house is one of the easiest ones to work with as far as the energies.
Yeah. What do I value? What is foundational to my abundance, to
Mm-hmm.
my feeling abundant
Yeah,
in
my
this world?
personal work.
What is abundant? What is worth? What is
And
all
it
of it?
also goes to the five senses too, the sensual pleasures, taste, smell, hearing, touching, and taste, right? So maybe you develop something that helps you with that, like maybe aromatherapy, or go back to the music, sound therapy. Go to a sound bath and see what that can do to build your feeling of just self introspection, peace, and calm, right?
I see the second house too, having an opportunity to really reconnect with nature.
Yes.
That where does nature and I interface on a personal level? Where do I connect with nature in a very broad sense,
Mm-hmm.
right? Am I a feet in the grass person? Am I a
Sitting
fresh, do
against
I have to
trees,
have fresh air for my brain to function?
right?
Do I need food? It's just like, do I have to have interesting food in my life? Where do I interface with nature, and what does that give me in terms of value?
Yeah.
Right? How valuable is it?
And
Not saying it well,
flowers.
but yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's like the aroma piece of it. If I really want to plant some flowers in my garden, do I want them to smell good? Do I really need that sense activated? That kind of thing. And looking at different practitioners that may bring in those different modalities. Some of them do aromatherapy work, some reflexology, touch therapy, right? you know, because that really can help the structure of your body, but incorporating some of these things into your routine, your foundation as a long-term plan, you know, doing massage every month. I'm going to put that in my schedule. That is my long-term health plan. Every month I'm going to go to massage, you know, because it helps me personally feel good. So, third house. That's all about that communication, learning, interacting with others and exchanging of ideas. So maybe you develop a lesson plan to learn something new. That's a perfect Capricorn third house example.
You bet.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah.
Or
What do I want to learn about next?
learn a language. Maybe you're learning a whole new language that you're going to take into a career. My partner right now wants to brush up on his Spanish skills because he wants to take that into the world he's going into for his work to connect to people in Central and South America and Mexico.
Because
So
he got Capricorn in the third.
he has, it does actually, it straddles the third and fourth house. Yep.
There you
Yep.
go.
Yeah, exactly. Perfect. Perfect. So that's a great way to work with third house. Um,
There you go.
yeah. Yeah. And learning about yourself, right? So again, it's maybe you do some therapeutic work to really discover what makes you tick. That would be a modality. The new work I'm doing with root cause therapy work is getting to the roots of yourself, your individual, or doing an astrological chart. I'm learning about me, right? Doing your natal chart with one of us.
Yep.
That is a perfect way because you're learning about the structure that is you, and you can use that for planning, not predictive. I don't like the word predictive for astrology. That's just me, but planning, understanding the energy potentials that you have right along the lines of what we're talking about today, how that new moon comes in. I can plan for that energy potential.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it may not be predictive, but you know that it's probably not a good idea to plan. I'm going to sign a life altering contract in the Mercury retrograde. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
Right. Energy potential. But
Mhm.
understanding it, knowing how to work with it and plan for it, Capricorn goes with that, right? So, And fourth house is that one. I think you could do past life regression work that gets down to your ancestral stuff, generational stuff, potentially as a modality you could learn
Oh
about.
yeah.
Hmm?
See now for me, fourth house was straight up give your home a renovation,
That
right?
too.
Like,
That too.
yeah,
That's another way to work with it.
yeah,
Absolutely.
for real. Spring cleaning, move the furniture around, do something to to improve, alter, realign your living space
Hmm.
or your working space if you spend a lot of time there.
Right.
But yeah, this is sort of where, yeah. So Capricorn in the fourth house is all about where it lives.
Yep.
Let's face it. It's the
Yep.
shell of the crab. So
Shell of the crab. Well, and I would imagine that some of the work you do, you can talk about energy shifts when people shift their home foundational structure, if you will, like
feng
change the
shui,
colors.
consult a feng shui person.
Yes.
Do we know a feng shui person? Let me think.
There she is. Yes, absolutely. And then
Yeah.
that can change the energy flow, right? It changes the flow of things around you on a regular that you're in on a regular basis. Do you ever notice how you react when you go into a room somewhere and you see the structure or the color or the style and you kind of go, oh, or you go, oh my God, I can see myself living here. Tune
Yeah.
into that as you go out into the world. If you've got a fourth house Capricorn placement right now,
Mhm.
just kind of feel into that. See, and then you go home and see how you feel, right? You may need some shifting on that.
Mhm.
So, um, okay, Hope's question, and we'll go back to the, let's see, we did a fifth, sixth, we haven't done seventh. This Capricorn new moon effect is primarily till the next new moon. Yes, and yes, and it's the start of this cycle, right? So it's the flavor for the next 4 weeks-ish of the cycle, but there's going to be things that come in, right?
Mhm.
So and then like Maria mentioned earlier, is it also sets the tone for the Capricornian energy to the next Capricorn new moon too. So it's not just the 4 week cycle, it's also the entire cycle, the zodiacal cycle.
Yeah. Yeah. So every full moon, and you'll just remember it, and it's not like this entire time from now till the next Capricorn new moon is going to be all about Capricorn, because obviously there are other new moons, and with it.
Right.
But what it does do is just give you closure on the last one, and that's why there's as much reflection and sort of integration and realignment, because you think, all right, last Capricorn new moon, what was I about? Am
Mm-hmm.
I still about that? Where's my progress check?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
Capricorn new moons are very much about progress checks because of that integration of the sun and of the inner and the outer.
Right.
When they
Right.
come together and talk to each other, and I'm like, okay, guys, how's everything lining up here?
And
Capricorn wants to know how everything's aligned, how everything is fitting, how everything is working.
get those Legos out, I'm telling you.
Yeah, exactly.
But the other thing too is the new moon to new moon. So we have this Capricorn new moon for the next, say, 4 weeks-ish. Then what you're also looking at, it's like the flavor of the month. Okay. So this is your flavor of the month, but other things can come into those flavors. So that would be your full moon. That would be, when we have, I believe we have Mars and Venus going conjunct during this new moon. What flavor does that bring into the foundational flavor of the month? So yes, you'll have that effect till the next new moon, but there are other energies and things that come into that will play into it. Okay, if that hopefully that makes sense. Um, so seventh house, oh, it's all about what do we look at the structure of our relationships in the world.
Yep.
And it can also be agreements, right? Are you creating agreements or new businesses with people? Is it time to set the groundwork to create that partnership with somebody? Maybe you're
Yes.
outlining a business plan with a new business partner. Maybe you're setting up a new podcast with a new co-host. Maybe you're, setting something down that will create um, again, that relationship with other, and also it's looking at rules, laws, structure, and authority in balance. Libra's all, the seventh house is all about balance. Is it fair? Is it just? This might be, exploring what rules, laws, regulations you have in your area, your workplace, policies. Are you a policy writer for your workplace, right? Is it fair? Is it balanced?
Mhm.
You know?
I see this new moon for seventh housers as just bringing stability to relationships of all kinds.
Mhm. That too.
I really do.
Hmm.
There's a lot of opportunity to bring stability into relationships,
Yes.
or
Balance.
yeah, stability about. I'm almost seeing, honest to God, I'm almost seeing no downside on this. Capricorn transiting the seventh house right now in Libra is just wanting to bring stability, which means there might be a moving away from things that just won't take it, that just are not stable anymore.
Well, the one challenging side I could see, just a slight one, is if you do end up finding yourself meeting new people, new relationships, interacting with new others, there may be an excitement that you don't want to be patient and take your time in building that relationship, right? The Capricornian. It's that infatuation thing, maybe, or, oh, I met somebody new that I can do this work with. Slow down, Capricorn says. Take your time. Make
Mhm.
sure this is the right one. Hey, Jisoo, how are
Hey,
you? Good to see
so
you. Hello, hello.
we're here,
Um,
we're here.
so I think that's the only kind of challenging side to the Capricorn seventh house is there may be some excitement in that relationship situation or that interaction with other that Capricorn says, slow down. Make sure that goat has its footing, right? So,
Yeah, but just we above all want our relationships to be stable, whatever they are. So yeah.
right, absolutely.
Yep.
We did eighth house, ninth house, and 10th house. So now we're at the 11th house. So
Okay.
what do you see for that?
Okay. Your community. There's going to be much, I think there's going to be more coming together of community,
Right.
building a community. And there's probably even going to be a certain amount of calling in the community that supports whatever endeavor you're wanting to undertake in
Mm-hmm.
the next cycle. So calling in the people that will support your work
And
and who, will wish to be supported by you. But it's all about community upgrade, making stable, supportive communities. That could be summed up in two words.
yeah, absolutely. And part of the 11th house ruled by Uranus is also about your network, right? It can be about the cyber network. It can be about your social media network. It can be about the internet. It could be, so you may be building foundational structures out in the cyber world as well, right? So, and the modality, it also rules your nervous system, right? So how are you taking care of the foundations of your nervous system, your neurological system? Do you have, anxious tendencies? Are you doing things to calm that a little bit? Create foundation, that sure-footedness of the goat on the rock.
And that I think is where we can start getting into the importance of community. Are you reaching out for help when you need it?
Yes,
Are you allowing your community to support you? Or do you think you've got to be, Miss Perfect in control, all of that handled with everything?
right,
The 11th house wants community to be an interactive
right.
thing too. So sometimes, you can bring it to the group. You can find, and maybe 11th house, part of it is finding those practitioners. That's also part of your community,
Yes.
finding, the places that you go and the people that you lean on
Mm-hmm.
for support
Mm-hmm.
and stability. Yeah. But it's
Well,
going to be.
the other thing that came to me too is again, Capricorn's all about responsibility, right? And
Mhm.
11th house, ruled again by Uranus, is the authentic self. You have a responsibility to be your authentic self in your community, right? So I
Right.
think it is a calling for us to really show our true authentic selves in our collective community. And if you're having challenges in that, difficulty in that, find those practitioners who align with you that can help you with that, right? If you're anxious or you have fear or you have trauma or you have,
Yeah.
body somatic issues, there are people out there that can help you be truly who you are meant to be in that collective community. It's not just the neighbor out the street, it's your big community, right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
and I think we have that responsibility in some way. And I don't mean it to be daunting. I think it's a personal internal responsibility to be that authentic self and seek that help when you do need it.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
I think that's really important. And especially, I'm going to take a little side turn here. If you have Chiron in the 11th house or Aquarius, you may find some wounding behind your ability to do that, where you go put yourself out there, like, ah, God, they're going to judge me. I can't do that. So again, work with people who might help you in that realm if you are an 11th house um, person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. If this transit, Jisoo, just we were talking about what house this new moon falls in for everybody and how that might personally affect them. For you, it's third house. I
Mm.
happen to know. And we had talked about third house being changes in you're going to want to learn stuff, right? You're kind of gonna, okay, what am I going to learn about now? What's my next learning thing? Maybe you want it, which does that remind you of you exactly where you
Create
are?
create the
Yeah,
lesson plan.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Capricorn is all again about the plans, the structures, the timelines, the project plan, right? So, and in the
Yeah,
third house, create the lesson plan for what you want to learn that's new or what
exactly.
you want to teach. Create the course.
You're right. And maybe you also find that whatever you were looking at last year, like, okay, maybe I'm not interested in basket weaving anymore. I've moved on to clay pots, whatever it is, right? That you just find that I'm reassessing what I wanted to learn before, learned it. Now what do I want to learn?
Yeah, and for the long haul. Again, Capricorn isn't just the for tomorrow. It's that, maybe a new thing for your career or a new language or a new whatever, right? Yeah, and she said that in a meeting today.
Oh,
Of
third.
course you did. I love when the energies align.
For sure.
Yeah. Well, last but not least is the 12th house. And what I
Right.
see in that is creating your spiritual practice. That's, what kind of
Mhm.
ritualistic structures do you have around your personal spiritual practice? So journaling, meditating, creating an altar space if you're somebody who chooses to do that. Working with stones, those are earth, those have structure. So those are some just quick ideas. How about you, my dear? What do you think?
I had written, who the hell knows? The 12th house is nuts.
Okay, there's that too.
No, but also,
I love you.
but also you might you might find a a renewed sense of purpose. I think that Capricorn in the 12th house can help us find our purpose, can sort of reach deep into that whole Piscean deep waters of everything and pull out, no, this is what I'm on about right now. And deepen the connection to spirit that handed us this. Like it's like it can reach right into the Akash and
Yes.
say, okay, here's what I'm here for, at least for this next cycle.
Yep. Yeah. Akashic
Now,
readings.
as I travel through all the rest of the houses and figure out how I'm going to fulfill that, but here's my thing. This is what I'm on about. My what is
Akashic.
what my soul is doing.
I love that. The Akashic reading, that's a perfect way to work with a modality there.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing that was coming to me too was chakra work, opening up
Yes.
that energetic channel to the divine,
Yes.
right? Open up from the root all the way up to the crown.
Learning your spirit body.
Yes.
Baby has 7 chakras. Yes, exactly.
I love it. Baby has 7 chakras. Oh my gosh. You give them the blocks, the books, and the chakras.
Right. Right.
That's
Go to
great.
town. But yeah, learning what your spirit body is. How does that, you know, interface between this living meat suit and the spirit really work? And what am I on about now? So yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. So I want to circle back to two different things. One is going back to the whole concept of holistic health happy hour. So I want to ask, and you guys can put in the chat here too, and I'm going to ask my lovely co-host, what are some ways that you bring holistic happiness into your life? What are some of the things you do when, or you think of when I say holistic health happy hour?
I can tell you for my part that holistic health happy hour for me involves cooking. I mean,
Mm,
I love food and just nothing sort of gets me back into my body, back centered, back than the act of cooking a meal. I love you guys. You're my happy
just
hour,
gonna
Dana.
say, I love you all too. You beat me to it.
But yeah, that for me, I've got going outside and breathing holistic health happy hour. And if I can get outside and breathe some fresh air, and not be in an enclosed space too long that's full of electromagnetic bounce around and recirculated air, that's great. And cooking a meal really does it for me.
Mm, I love that. And for me, yes, I can definitely ascribe to that with a nice glass of wine to go with a beautiful dinner that was lovingly prepared. Um, but the other piece, because I have such a strong Mercury Gemini kind of presence, is I love learning and teaching. I love learning about new ways to approach holistic health. I love sharing that with people, not in a proselytizing way, but in a, hey, did you hear about? I'd love to share this with you. And if it resonates with you, great. That gives me health and happiness is to be able to do these things for our community, right? I really,
Oh
really
my God, Maggie! I'm sorry, I'm just freaking out. My one of my best friends from college found her way on here.
welcome,
Megan,
welcome.
everybody say hi to Megan.
Hello, hello. Jesu, she put in herbal regimens, aromatherapy, vitamins, Lilith Lounge. Okay, I'll add that one to mine too.
Nice.
Philosophy and meditation. Beautiful, beautiful. Anybody else? Go ahead and just pop in the chat. What is it that you think of when I say happy hour, holistic health happy hour? And I would love to hear because as we share these things, we're sharing them with other people who may go, oh my God, I never thought of that, right? Being with trees, dancing and singing. There you go. And I'm repeating these two so that they go on the recording because the chat won't be there. Um, yeah, music is definitely right up there. I always have music on in my house, always. So it's, in fact, I'm fighting with one of my channels that it plays one
Um,
song and then it keeps stopping. So anyway,
so
there's
we've got nutrition, we've got community, we've got music, we've got nature,
stargazing. Yes,
we've
yes,
got stargazing, spirit connection.
yes. And I'm blessed to live in a place where I get to see the blanket of the sky just about every night. Growing things, especially, I love you too, honey. Growing things, especially food from Linda. Yes, absolutely. So
Yes.
Linda, you can grow the things and give them to Maria to cook, and then she'll bring back
That's
the
it.
dinner for you.
That's it. Yes.
See, we're building our community here.
I love it.
There you go.
I love it.
Well, as you guys keep typing in some things, the other thing I wanted to share is, and this kind of goes in to the body structure. So I love this. Whoops, actually, let me put this one up first. I love this book, The Secret Language of Your Body by Ina Siegel. And it talks about the language that our body gives us when we have challenges in our health, right? My thumb hurts, my back hurts. What is my body telling me, right? And she has a number of different suggestions in how to work with these different messages that you get. And the other thing she has, and I don't know if the glare will work out here, it's called the Secret Language of Your Soul cards. So what I would like to do is pull a card for the group here and see what the secret language of our collective soul, no play on the band's name, please do not, we're not doing copyright stuff here. And what the secret language of our collective soul has to say for this Capricornian new moon. So let's see what she says. Whoops, no, we don't need 7 cards. Just one, please. Just one. Just one. That's
we got a lot to say, right?
Yeah. And I think we're getting pretty close to wrap up time because we've been on well over an hour and we want to keep this accessible to people. And Julie's little secret, she listens to all her videos in 1.5 speed. So just telling you that you can listen to it faster. So, all right. I think I'm going to pick this card here. Huh. So it says, make your life more interesting. And the colors are a teal and kind of a dusty rose. There's some yellow in the center. And
That's beautiful.
I'll do a quick read on what the book has to say so that we can incorporate some of these things into our beautiful energy here. Make your life more interesting. Explore the unexpected. Okay, all you 9th house people, get on it.
Yeah.
You can complain about the mundane aspects of your life, or you can start living. When you make an effort to develop your inner life, your outer reality, sun and moon, expands a fascinating new world, and that opens up for you to explore. It can be tempting to take the easy road and hide behind what you know, but such a life is rarely interesting and never truly satisfying. This card encourages us to follow our passion and start looking for and investing in what truly inspires you. 5th house, follow the passion. 2nd house, investing. New opportunities can only come into your life when you are willing to open your mind to something different. If you're unsure of what stimulates you, consider which aspects of your life could be expanded, reawakened, or enhanced. Maybe you are great at art, but let the skills slide. Perhaps you are an amazing gardener who has been too busy to spend time in nature. See how these things all align? I love it. Maybe you love cooking, dancing, composing, or writing, but have been unwilling or unable to engage your creative spirit. Okay, these things don't lie. So again, this is another modality. This is another way to work with the energy, right? There is more to life than stifling routines. If you are extremely busy, you might like to allocate 5, 10, or 15 minutes per day to stepping outside your current sphere of influence and engage with life on the level your soul craves. I can't.
Wow.
I can't.
Yeah.
If you
have, build it in. Yeah.
If you have more freedom, you may decide to travel to a different part of the world or seclude yourself for a time to discover who you could become. If travel is not possible or desired, try to connect with people you would not usually spend time with and learn from them. Join a group of interests or learn a skill that stretches your capacity. Engage with the new in your life with excitement and enthusiasm. Leave mundanity behind. So there you go. That is a way to work with this beautiful Capricornian energy. What new thing can you bring into your life that is a part of your routine that brings you holistic happiness? So, oh, Danny posted, our fellow little astrologer friend, I love you. Venus trine Uranus right now. Right meow, actually.
Right meow, right yes. About meow.
Yes, beautiful stuff. All right, anything else we should add, or shall we call it a beautiful night? And gratitude to the whole group for rolling with our little stumbles. But that's okay. This is why we do these things.
We got it together.
Yes, we did. Yes, we did. And you know,
Megan, you will be pleased to know that I am about as good with technology now as I was in college.
I love it. I love it. But you know, we did it. That's what matters, is we did it. We set a foundational stone.
We did.
And we're hoping that we can do lives at least once a month, but broaden the spectrum, not just Lilith Lounge. and some pre-recordings maybe once or so a month in between. So stay tuned. We're setting a foundation.
Yes.
We're setting a
Thank you,
foundation.
everybody, for being here.
And thank you, my dear co-hostess and star sister. I love you deeply and value you and give you big hugs from Arizona to Michigan. So, and for those who may have missed the live, when you see this later, Facebook will save it on our Lilith Lounge page. And we are also recording this. So we'll probably look to putting it up on our own, like my own YouTube channel, Maria's YouTube channel, that kind of thing. So stay tuned. There you go.
Cool.
All right, we are going to stop the live. You
Okay.
guys in cyberspace.
Yay.